right, welcome back to the Patriot Hour for Thursday, October 24th, 2019. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by, folks. Here at the Patriot Hour, we try to bring you facts and tidbits of information for you to connect the dots and do your own research afterwards. Never believe what anyone says. Connect all of your own dots. Watch anyone you want. Watch all the YouTube channels. Watch any of the mainstream, but don't believe anything. Read everything you can too. Don't believe any of it until you can verify it, all right? In your own right. The days of being spoon-fed have got to end. That's how we got in this problem that we're currently in the first place. So we can't make the same mistakes going forward. All right. All right. So here today we're going to read an email. I have an email I want to read, and then we're going to go over a few things. This is kind of important. So I encourage all of you again. We're going on a year and 8 months, a year and 7 months of the channel. It's been great. You guys send all of the great things you see behind me. They got the P.O Box is down below. The donations, thank you so much. That's down below. The links, I think the Patreon's done. It's just the PayPal and the GoFund. The only two things remaining, the P.O Box and the email and the comment section and sharing the videos. There's so many different ways you guys support. I appreciate it. And again, give this a thumbs up, ring the bell, make sure you're getting alerted. We are banned currently. We just got back from a 7-day ban. Can't go live for several months. We are in other places to find us for live, though. All right, we still pull one off. Okay. So, hey, Mike, this is blank, a former Marine. Okay, this guy works for a power company out in California, all right? And he just found out some interesting news, and he said I might want to pass this on to the viewers and the Patriots, and that's why I'm doing this video. I found it interesting. Remember a couple of weeks back when the company PG&E shut off the power to hundreds of thousands of people? We remember that, right? So, well, they're planning possibly again on the 27th. He heard this on the 27th. Could be very late on the 27th, like just before midnight of the 28th. Who knows? But they're planning possibly on doing it again. P&G is planning on doing that again, and it will make the most recent power outage they had look like a walk in the park. Yes, folks. A walk in the park, he says here. Let me try to read that right. So on October 27th, P&G is going to do it again, and it'll make the most recent power outage they had look like a walk in the park. Word is all of San Francisco, SF, is going to be shut off for 5 straight days, or maybe a little longer. This info just came from my boss's boss. I was in the room when he said it. Also, it gets a little weirder. What day did Q start posting? And I'm pretty sure that was on the 27th or the 8th, but I was thinking the 28th. And I'm seeing the 28th. If this is correct. October 28th at 3:50 p.m., 28th of October. Anonymous. So, interesting indeed. So we'll keep an eye on that. I've been looking around today just to also like the National Guard being called up at all. Wisconsin National Guard called up in response to Milwaukee riots. That was 17 days ago. And just getting some tidbits here, 3 months, 1 month. You can find some interesting things sometimes just scanning like that, different multiple. I'm on Bing for this minute. Go to DuckDuckGo next. Maybe go back to Google, Yahoo. Military Reserves Federal Call-Up Authority, all right? The Department of Defense Total Force Policy recognizes that active duty reserves and reserve U.S. military forces should be readily available to support military operations. Reserve forces, once considered to be forces of last resort, are now recognized as indispensable to the nation's defense from the earliest days of a conflict. In addition to the reserve's peacetime support to active forces has taken on increased importance in such areas as peacekeeping missions, counter-drug operations, disaster aid, and exercise support. So what are the military reserves? We know type of activation and mobilizations. The following are types of authorized use of reservists of National Guard forces. Involuntary activation. The President, Congress, and Secretary of Defense can call up reservists. The difference is the time they are allowed to be actively recalled. The President and Congress can call reservists for extended periods of time. The Secretary of Defense can call up reservists for no more than 15 days. The Coast Guard can be recalled for longer periods of time by the Secretary of Defense, but still is limited compared to the President or Congress. So full mobilization in times of war or national emergency, and it is actually declared by Congress, all reserve units are eligible for involuntary activation. There is no time limit or up until 6 months after the war is over. Partial mobilization. In times of war or national emergency, the President can call up to 1 million reservists for up to 2 years of active duty time. President Reserve Call-Up Authority. The President can call up to 200,000 reservists and even 30,000 members of the Individual Ready Reserve, the IRR. This action can keep members on active duty for up to 1 year. Armed Forces and Disaster Response. A state governor can make a request in support of an emergency or a major disaster. Secretary of Defense may also involuntarily call up reserve units and individuals to assist with domestic emergency or disasters for up to 120 days. Assured Access Authority, AAA. The Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and Coast Guard secretaries may involuntarily call up to 60,000 reserve units, not individuals, for up to a year when not during times of war or national emergency for special missions in support of active duty combatant command. Voluntary activation. Of course, reservists can volunteer for active duty. Many are augmented individually into active duty units. This way when needed. Calling up military reserves. In time of war or national emergency declared by Congress, the entire membership of all reserve components or lesser member can be called to active duty for duration of war or national emergency, plus 6 months on top of that. Although this status normally is viewed as a call-up authority for responding to a major threat to national security, DoD stated that it could be used to activate reservists for a domestic emergency. Military reserves and national emergencies. In a time of a national emergency declared by the President, up to 1 million members of the Ready Reserve can be called to active duty for not more than 24 consecutive months, 2 years. Similar to the previous authority, DoD stated that this statute could also provide access to reservists for a domestic emergency. When the President determines it is necessary to augment the active forces for any operational mission, up to 200,000 members of the selected reserve can be called to active duty for not more than 270 days. The provision also states that no unit or member may be ordered to active duty under this authority to provide assistance to either the federal government or state in time of a serious natural or man-made disaster, accident, or catastrophe. Thus, this authority cannot be used to access reservists for domestic emergencies. Putting military reservists on active duty. Coast Guard and active duty. So the last two, we'll go ahead and finish it up here. A service secretary can order any reservist to active duty for up to 15 days each year. The authority traditionally has been viewed as an authority allowing the services to enforce the reservist 2-week annual training requirement. This authority could be used for operational missions as well as annual active duty for training. In addition to involuntary activation of reservists under the above conditions, 10 U.S.C. 1231 D provides for call-up of reservists who volunteer for active duty. The number of volunteer reservists called to active duty and the length of time they may be kept on active duty generally depends on the availability of funds and the end strength authorizations for active force. Coast Guard and the active duty, these are a separate statutory authority allowing involuntary call-up of Coast Guard reservists during a domestic emergency. Each Coast Guard reservist may be required to serve up to 30 days in any 4-month period and up to 60 days in a 2-year. For more on that, for the National Guard, you can click that little link there. I'll leave it down below. Okay, so we know, and I don't know, folks, I just believe Trump has, they have done everything by the book as far as the coup against them that we know exist, and time again, I mean, the Mueller report, 2 years, failed to stop the coup. It didn't even name it. We actually know where some things should have been looked at. He didn't, and he acted really dumb about those areas. Like, I didn't even know that person existed. So it's like, that wasn't, there's that. Maybe we're seeing why Trump has called back a bunch of old people, people that have worked in other administrations out of nowhere. It's like either they're at home, retired, like Barr. But some of these people are of good and doing the right thing, and some of the people they've called back have done the wrong thing and then right back out the door, talking crap on social media for the next 5 months because I think they got set up. I think they called in a lot of people. They've exhausted all avenues. So for the books, for the history books, and for Here Coming Soon, we tried. Well, why didn't you guys go to this? Why didn't you do that? They tried. You couldn't go to a corrupt FBI and DOJ with Comey and Rosenstein at the heads of these places. You weren't going to get nowhere. And they had their chance to do the right thing, but nothing came. So that's the knowingly. We know that. We know that. All right. We know that. Let me take a look here real quick at that. So we know the first date was the October 28th. And we're going to go. Oh, I think I spelled that wrong. I just wanted actual Adam Schiff. Is that even right? Chef. So we've done this before. So Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, should be forced to resign from Congress. Knowingly. Leaking investigations can lead to forced resignations. Knowingly disseminating false information is illegal. Gang of 8, the intel. Rosenstein used to leave rooms, and then things would leak in the middle of. Remember this important fact: Adam Schiff is part of the Gang of 8, the intel. It will become critical once Gang of 8 material is declassified. Logical question: if Adam Schiff knew everything he's investigating, and then stating publicly on the news channels that we see him to be knowingly false disinformation, why then would he take the course of actions and keep it ongoing? Did Adam Schiff purposely deceive the American public, thinking the Gang of 8 material and other classified documentation would never reach the public domain? What insurance did they hang over POTUS's head in order to prevent action? A father's love for his children knows no bounds. Something to keep in mind. Okay, I just wanted to get that email out to you guys. Something to think about. We'll keep it our radar on it. All right, now we're in tune to that. We've heard it. It's in our heads. Move forward. We're going to look at other things. We're going to keep going forward, but that's something to keep. And anyone else out in California, if you can, email us, reach out, let us know about the last time, and now you can maybe be prepared a little bit better for this next one. Again, this is coming from somebody that actually works within the company of PG&E. So thank you so much for that email, and thank all of you Patriots for joining in tonight. We'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update video, coming really soon. Probably finish up on one that I had in store, been working on throughout the day, and it'll be released first thing probably tomorrow morning. So you guys have a great, tomorrow's Friday, TGIF. God bless all of you Patriots, and we'll see you back here real soon. Again, make sure you leave a thumbs up on your way out and a comment down below. Some of the greatest Patriots down below there to help you, guide you, lead you in the right direction, leaving links and articles. Do the same. Do the same. Sometimes these are topics of episodes. The comments get that deep. So, all right. We'll see you guys back here on the next episode of the Patriot Hour. Good night.